I'm so impressed, first of all, that this level of work in The Amazing Spider-Man was done by you and you and you and you and you. You were the team. It was just you.
Well, there was some of the lighting got handed off afterwards
And
to somebody
compositing,
else.
obviously,
but
yeah.
it's sort of it's like towards the the deadline. We're like, okay, well we got to address some mechanics here, but we'll let somebody else handle lighting from the rest of it on. But as you can see, there's like several versions of the lighting in this clip here that you can see it went through. There was like a version where it was blue. This was like the very first thing, was this gyroscope concept. It was before they really told us, okay, well, it's supposed to do this. They hadn't really made up their mind yet what it was going to be. So these drawings and those gyroscope things, it was like I was getting directions saying, oh, can we make it high tech, but like make it original and like have it do something that you would not expect. So I came up with this sort of maglev gyroscope thing that would wind up the string like a yarn ball and then snap back. And then it sort of became something else. So then it became like, okay, let's use these robot arms to stretch it and weave it, and then it became like, then we started adding these bars to add another layer of weaving to make it go thinner.
Well, it was definitely one of the coolest sequences in the movie, honestly. I mean, I think overall the work that Pixomondo did was my favorite work in the film were those shots. I mean, I love the mutant rat, little mutant rat, if you've seen the film, and in this work that you did is extremely impressive. And I mean, what about Lightwave when you were doing this? What about the tool Lightwave was the most useful, the most impactful for you as an artist for this particular sequence? I mean, what thing about Lightwave was the most beneficial to you during this sequence? Was it?
Oh, it was just basically that I could just quickly go back and forth between all the aspects of production, and I could work on the textures while I was doing it,
and you were kind of working in that render environment from its inception. It allowed you to get to those final rendered images ultimately very easily.
Yeah, it was just easy to just move things back and forth through the pipeline. There wasn't any sort of like, well, we have to hand this off to the team that uses this software, and then you have to hope that nobody, there's no loss of communication in between or some sort of it's like, oh, I thought this was the latest version of this file, or.
So there was kind of like a continuity for you as the artist to take this, really evolve the design, kind of find the way it should work, the machinery, the animation, the motion, as well as modeling, and all of that was kind of tied together so that you fed the design through your process.
Yeah, it was sort of it was designing and animating, going for final animation while I was still designing it. So I found many times there were cases where like rods or the strings would pass through the rods, and I would be like, oh, I have to redo that string over there so that it doesn't pass through. And I could just go in and do that.
You didn't have to communicate to someone else and explain what you were thinking.
I didn't have to go, okay, well, this goes to the dynamics department now, or the... So
Cut to multiple delays and the budget and schedule kind of going like this as you.
I mean, having a divided pipeline has its advantages for things that are typically done, like character animation. But something like this is always going to be some special case that comes along where you go, well, gee, how do we apply this to the pipeline that we've been using for a million years?
Right, right. That's awesome. So is there another shot that you brought that you wanted to look at after this?
Oh, yeah. Well, we have Hugo and Hunger Games.
We have Hugo. Let's look at the shot from Hugo.
Here we go with Hugo. Okay,
wow.
So this is sort of what I did before this.
Wow.
The gears were largely modeled in Lightwave. Some of the gears existed in advance, like some of the minor gears existed in advance from the clock that was in the movie. But this scene was not about the clock, but it was sort of using parts from it here and there to kind of tie it in. But most of the gears had to be made up from scratch just so we can get all these weird mechanical assemblies. So I assembled all these... I assembled all the animation of these gears and arranged them.
So what are we looking at? Was this modeled and textured and rendered in Lightwave? What
we're looking at here is a test render that was done in Lightwave, and then later on we had to hand it off to a different department that didn't have Lightwave.
But you did all of this yourself.
Sorry?
You did all of this yourself?
Yeah, I did all this myself. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, apart from I didn't build the robot character that was there. That was sort of pre-built. and used earlier on in the sequences. But as far as like the environment and the gears just moving all around the place, I mean that's all.
And Rob Legato was the visual effects supervisor
Rob
on
Legato was
this.
the visual
Won an
effects
Academy
supervisor.
Award, Hugo.
Yes,
we love Rob Legato.
We won the visual effects award at the Oscars.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'm proud to say that they showed this shot 3 times at the Oscars.
Wow. Wow. I mean, it is really impressive to see that you can sit with Lightwave and do this kind of a conceptual kind of layout, animation, modeling, lighting test to provide to even a more complex pipeline that might be further down the road. But this quality is like really beautiful.
Yeah, and in this particular case, Lightwave was just one of several tools that were used to help build this shot.
Right.
So we used V-Ray, we used Maya, we used Lightwave. It was sort of, it's like Lightwave is a good team player with the other softwares, so it comes in handy for whenever one software is good at one thing, another software is good at another thing, or the rest of your talent around you doesn't know one software. It just
flexibility.
Keeps it flexible. Yeah, it's flexible.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And we have another shot that you brought. It's from the Hunger Games, I imagine.
Yes, the Hunger Games. Well, there were several shots that we did in Hunger Games. We did the whole Tracker Jacker sequence, primarily, I think, in Lightwave, rendering all the bees. But this here is a scene that was a special case. It was all digital trees. The hovercraft is also done in Lightwave, but I personally was responsible for the foliage here that was done from scratch pretty much. I think we had like some pre-built trunks, but I had to create all the leaves from Lightwave.
Wow.
Start with one, apply a weight map to it, and we could have tried using dynamics, but there was just far too much data with these leaves to wait for the simulations. It would take all day to find out that the simulation was not working.
Yeah.
So here's just like some of the foreground leaves there as an example. But the nodal system, the displacement nodal system came in handy, where I could control the X, Y, and Z coordinates to kind of offset the displacements to make the leaves sort of behave in a very organic way. And I would have like fine displacements to make the individual leaves kind of flicker on their own, and then you would have the larger displacements for making the whole branches sort of undulate at the same time.
Wow.
So it looked like there was multiple layers of movement going on, and
it looks so organic. I love.
Thank you.
It's really, really beautiful.
Yeah, it definitely took some time to do this shot. It was a lot of rigging going on.
I have to tell you, when this reel came in initially from Eric Hans, I actually did say, Eric, is the ship Lightwave and the trees are real, or is it? Because I couldn't tell. It looked real to me.
Yeah, I heard about that like earlier on, just in the development stages. The owner of the company comes in. I heard he thought
I figured they put like a fan.
He wasn't sure. He
Yeah,
wasn't sure
yeah.
if the trees were real.
It looks great. It is really, really nice. Wow. Very cool. And do we have the shot of the tracker jackers, is what they call them?
Yeah, well, I don't have a clip of the tracker jackers myself. I think you probably might have that on the Pixomondo reel.
Yeah, we have that on the Pixomondo reel.
Yeah.
Can we pull that up and show? They're like the hornets. If you've seen the Hunger Games, they basically are like the hornets that she's cutting the limb and making fall on everybody else, and it's pretty impressive shot as well. This is obviously the Amazing Spider-Man stuff from the Pixomondo reel. Of course, a diverse pipeline they use, and Lightwave plugs perfectly in there. If you didn't know, Lightwave out of the box comes with Autodesk Geometry Cache native. You can import that. The FBX importer, GoZ ZBrush import, one button push. We have Unity support. It really is easy to integrate Lightwave into a diverse pipeline. Can we find the shot for the tracker jackers, the Hornet, the Wasp sequence? Where she's on the...
Here we go.
There we go. Very cool.
Yeah, these are the tracker jackers from Hunger Games, all the insects there are rendered in Lightwave, and there was you know, some discussion about what was going to be the best way to render these guys out, and basically Lightwave won in that case.
Yeah, great. It looks beautiful, and it looked like it hurt. Like I felt when I was watching it, I was like hurting. I was like, ah.
Oh yeah. Well, she's a good actress. It helps to have, you know, some bees actually hitting her and stinging her when she's acting. But, yeah.
Very cool.
There you go. I remember animating that one.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, they were very specific about where the bees should go. You know.
Yeah. So some of those bees were hand keyed.
Oh yeah, they weren't motion captured, that's for sure.
But I mean, but they weren't using a flocking or instancing system to generate the flight paths. They were actually hand keyed with those motions.
I see. Yeah, we didn't use dynamics on this part, but I think when the when they crash at the bottom, there was some dynamics.
Crash at the bottom, there was dynamics. Okay, great.
Yeah, there was a big swarm. Yeah, good luck animating all those guys.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Very cool, though. I mean, I think consistently, I have been so impressed working with you guys, you know, through our contact on different across the projects with the work from Pixomondo Burbank. I think it is exceptional work. I think it sets the standard for today's film and television work. I mean, when you see these shots in the films that we all love and the TV shows that we all love, you guys are doing amazing work.
Thank you.
And we appreciate the opportunity to work with you, and we look forward to continuing that relationship. And I appreciate you taking the time, because I know how busy you are, to come down and speak with us and share kind of a little bit about your process and the techniques. Is there anything else you wanted to cover or discuss?
Oh, well, from what I've been seeing here, it's getting just better and better, and I think we're going to be continuing to be using Lightwave for quite some time.
Absolutely. We're very happy to help you guys in any way we can. And again, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know it's crazy.
Yes, that's true. I have to get back to a TV show now.
He has to get back to work right now. He stopped work and came down here to do this, to share this with us. Thank you, Jason, and all of Pixomondo, Jen, and the whole gang there. Thank you for coming and sharing the workflow for how you guys are really rising to the occasion with the best renders, the best quality, the best animations in television and film work. You know, check out the Hunger Games. Check out The Amazing Spider-Man. I loved it. I thought that was awesome. Terra Nova looked amazing. They're doing so much good work there. Check out all those projects to see Pixomondo Burbank's work. And we thank you guys for participating. Jason Shulman, everybody.